We are back, another episode of Chef's Kiss. It's me, Peter, Sheffield Shuffler. I'm here with Jake Savicki. Jake, social media sensation. What's good, Jake?
What's happening, man? Good to be here.
Dude, happy to have you. I'm glad we got all of our stuff situated here as a couple older guys. Technology's not exactly the best for us, you know what I'm saying?
It took us some time, about 20 minutes.
Absolutely, guys.
We're here.
Yeah, we are here, Jake. I appreciate it. We're going to talk to Jake a little bit about his story, about a little bit of baseball stuff, and yeah, we're gonna kick it off with a quick pitch. Quick pitch. So, Jake, I'm going to give you a couple of categories real quick, and you just give me your answer as quick as you can, okay?
Sounds good.
Here we're going to go. Quick pitch. Beer or cocktail?
Beer.
Fastball down the middle or a hanging curveball?
Hanging curveball, honestly.
Ooh, a walk-off dinger or a walk-off home run robbery?
Walk-off dinger.
Walk-off dinger. 1 million views on a video or a work of art that only gets 1K views?
1 million views.
Best piece of advice for creators?
Post. Just put it out there. Sooner or later, there's an audience. There's too many people out there. There's an audience for whatever the heck you're into. I promise you that.
Post. Post Malone. Barry Lamar Bonds, Hall of Fame, yes or no?
Yes.
Absolutely. That was quick pitch. Jake, awesome job on the quick pitch. Can we talk a little bit about the Barry Lamar Bonds, because I'm in the same camp as you in regards to Hall of Fame, yes or no? My opinion is you cannot tell the story of baseball without talking about Barry Lamar Bonds, who owns a lot of the records, regardless of what you want to say about him, steroids, cheating, all that kind of stuff. The era that he played in, I really don't care. Barry Lamar Bonds, one of the best baseball players I've ever watched, one of the most exciting sports superstars. Jake, do you feel the same way?
Yeah, I do. And I know. I'll give you a funny little short story of why I know how many accolades he has. I worked this celebrity softball event, and it was actually Jackie Robinson 75th year breaking the barriers we did it last summer, and he threw out the first pitch. We were at UCLA, we're all in the clubhouse, everybody's getting ready for the game and all that, and he comes in, and it's like ghost town. Everyone's like, whoa, it kind of just. And these are celebrities, you know what I mean? And then when he walked in, it was like, wow. And he comes and introduces himself to everybody. He gets to me. It was like the ultimate big leaguer, big leaguing me as good as he does. He comes up and he's like saying hi to everybody and meeting them. He gets to me. I'm like, what's up, Barry, man? It's like, it's an honor. And I like shake his hand and he like goes, yeah, slaps my shoulder. He's like, good to see you again, and walks off. I'm like, fucking never met this guy. Like, what are we doing? But so the reason I said I know his accolades, I said, hey, I came up to him like 5 minutes later. I said, hey, I'm on the microphone tonight. I'm introducing you. And I know his relationship with the media was always not good. So I said, hey, you cool if I just kind of, shoot off a few of the accomplishments and all that? Obviously, when I introduce you, I wanted to make sure. He's like, it's a pretty long list. I'm like, yeah, it's a very long list. I know. I saw it. And I had 8 things that were written down that I was going to say instead of all 30 of the things he's done. And he goes, better not leave anything out. I'm like, yeah, trying to figure out if he's joking or not. And he's like, he laughs a little bit. He's like, I'm serious. I said, right on. I literally right in front of him, took the paper out. I said, look at this. Crumpled it up, threw it. I said, I'm going to Wikipedia. Is that cool? He's like, yep. So I stood there on my phone. And I was like, fuck, this is insane. His, what he did. But so I know after reading that and just seeing it. But to me, I mean, it's just tough. It's like, because he was the best. He was the best. And I agree. I mean, I watched him and McGuire and Sosa go back and forth. Really, McGuire and Sosa were chasing each other, and Bonds was just in his own league. But it was like the best time ever. It was so fun to watch. And I just know I feel like he's getting punished because he just did it better than everyone else. You and I both know that most of the people he was hitting those balls off of were all roided out, and it's like that whole era is what it was.
I think he's getting punished for a different reason. I think he's getting punished because old baseball heads are the ones who choose who gets in and who doesn't, and they have grudges against him, whatever it is. That's the reason I think he's not getting in, because rubbing people the wrong way. Same thing with Pete Rose. When those guys die off, Jake, and there's new baseball writers and new people that are on the board of who gets in and who doesn't, obviously his time has expired already. Granted, if he takes, an at-bat for the Giants so he can restart it over, people have discussed that or not. But I grew up in Chicago. I grew up watching Sammy Sosa, like you said, Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire, and I don't care, dude, if you took steroids or not, because this was in the 90s, this was early 2000s, whatever you want to call it, and baseball was dying. There's a lockout in 94. People weren't going to watch, people whatever. People came to see dingers, dude. They want to watch people hit home runs, and Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire, that was the most exciting thing in baseball people have watched in a long time. So I'm all for steroids, dude. I mean, yeah. And there's a certain kind of cheating that I'm not for. There's a certain kind of technology-based cheating that I'm not about. I'm not about technology-based cheating, obviously, but in a time where everybody was juicing, like you said, these guys were, you're still the best, dude. You're still the best. I love Barry Bonds. Was amazing to watch. I think he has one of the, I'm sure you've read this off when you introduced him, but I think it was his intentional walks record. Nobody's going to touch that. And I don't know what it is. You might know what it is, but there's an intentional walk record for Barry Bonds, and it's just insane, dude. So I love Barry. Yeah, so great to watch him, Sosa, McGwire, all those guys. And, and I'm a baseball purist at heart, honestly. With all these rule changes, I'm not a big fan, but watching these guys hit home runs was just insane. So I'm glad we're on the same page for Barry Lamar Bonds in the Hall of Fame, because you can't tell the story of baseball without him.
No, I don't think you'll ever see a hitter as good as he was.
Yeah.
I mean, home runs aside, like you said, it's just everything. You couldn't throw him a pitch that he wasn't going to hammer.
And Jake, the thing too is he had a Hall of Fame career before he was ever accused of steroids. You know what I'm saying? People don't understand that. People, they see the home runs and blah, 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 70 whatever home runs, but they don't understand Barry Bonds with the Pirates, Barry Bonds with the Giants. He had a Hall of Fame career before that happened. And I almost equate it to like a Patrick Mahomes. If Patrick Mahomes finished today, he doesn't play another snap, he's still going in the Hall of Fame. He's still great. So that's kind of one of those things. That's a hill I'll die on. I love Barry Bonds, what he did for baseball, and it's kind of one of those things.
I agree with you. It's like he had a half of a Hall of Fame career, and then the back half he had just the best offensive career anybody will ever see. Like two different careers, and then you put them together, and it's like, that's the best offensive baseball player of all time.
Yes.
And then even early on, like you said, stealing bases, playing good defense, the guy is unbelievable.
Jake,
so, we're on the same page there.
You ever watch Rookie of the Year?
Yeah.
You remember when Henry Rowan-Gardner, he struck him out, and that was when Barry was skinny on the Pirates, batting leadoff. People forget that. People think, he's always on the Giants, this big dude. Barry was a leadoff hitter, So that's always good to remember. Jake, big stuff happening in baseball this week. White Sox and Guardians. White Sox, probably one of the most disappointing teams in Major League Baseball. I'll throw the Yankees in there as well. But White Sox and Guardians, thoughts on Jose Ramirez versus Tim Anderson. Jose Ramirez throws a lucky hook, dude. Okay, don't care. I don't care if it's lands on Tim Anderson's chin. Okay, wobbling, dude. Dude is shook, right? So what are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on the fight? What do you think teammates are talking about? Because obviously stuff came out after the fact that was saying Grandal slapped him earlier in the year. Then Grandal came out and said, hey, that never happened. Could be true, could be not true. And I understand how people run away with stories and all that stuff. Could be fake news. I totally get it. But if you're in the clubhouse, what are your thoughts on this? Knowing the White Sox and how bad that situation is, just give me your thoughts when you're watching Jose Ramirez just knock out Tim Anderson.
First off, I thought it was wild. Second, Tim Anderson clearly, and after this happened, if people didn't know, now they know. It's like he is, they say disrespecting the game. He doesn't want to be there. It's like he's underproducing, all this different stuff. It's like there had to be something bigger than that, because he's like, well, J. Ram said he tagged me hard. I didn't like it. And when you look at the play, I'm like, I don't really see that. I didn't see it.
Right.
Maybe he didn't know probably the timing of the play. He's sliding head first, and he probably just felt the tag on his face or whatever it was, his head. I was pissed. And then Anderson, if you really watch it, like he was standing over him, yeah, but it wasn't like an intentional. He just was like looking, saw the call, and was like, oh, and like started to slowly move. But there was no. So I don't know what. These guys have an issue with Tim Anderson. It seems like a lot of people do, just in general. So to me, for him to pop up and get pissed, and we don't know what was said. We obviously know what happened, but for him to just take his gloves off real quick and go, let's fight. It's like, I don't know what J-Rep said to him, but it's like he was ready to go. And maybe it was just Tim saying, fuck it, dude, let's go. I'm so sick of all this crap. And, yeah, dude, he's getting pulled away by the White Sox guys. His head's down, swing right in the frickin' jaw, puts him on his back. I'm like, dang, like that was I'm the same way. That's a fight's a fight. You're swinging, good for you. You connect, good, but just a lucky head down, trying not to get pulled back by the other team and swinging, and you catch him. For Tim Anderson, that's just tough. That is tough.
Here's what I saw, Jake. I saw the umpire get in a little bit, and then he said, I'm not going to be a part of this, and then left. And I love that. I love that the ump didn't try to insert himself. Very different from a lot of umpires that we see that want to insert themselves in the game because they're a bunch of nobodies and they want to insert themselves in the game. That's another story. But you've been a coach for teams and stuff like that, so maybe give me your point of view on this. Now, I saw Michael Kopech go to J-Rom, not pulling him off. He let him kind of get his swings in, and then he kind of pulled him off. Okay, my point of view, if that's my teammate, I'm pissed. If that's my pitcher and I'm squaring up, and that's fine. You want to let me fight. But if you see your teammate and another guy squaring up, and I don't want to say like you should take a cheap shot or whatever, but you should have handled J-Rom, dude. You're coming around and this guy's squaring up on your teammate. Boom! Tackle, swing, whatever. Kopech didn't do anything. And I know Kopech's got his own problems with a bunch of stuff off the field. And people were saying that. I posted something. I was like, Kopech's a bad teammate for doing this and that. But I thought Kopech should have done something, dude. Tackle the dude. Hit him. Do something. From your perspective, what do you think as, this pitcher, you see him squaring up. You think he should have done something? You don't think so? What do you think?
Yeah, I think that probably goes to the relationship Anderson has with that team, and kind of like you talked about the clubhouse. If it was me, yeah, same thing. I'm sprinting over there and just tackling J-Ram just to diffuse. I'm not like,
sure,
because Anderson squared up first, and that's clearly like, okay, well, he wants to fight. It is what it is. But if it was just me, yeah, I'm sprinting over there and I'm tackling him without trying to hurt him and just say, we're not doing this. But I think, again, it's like if I've had teammates, we've all had teammates that we don't like, and it's like if this dude wants to get into some shit, you're like, I'm not dealing with this crap, dude. Go ahead. You threw your glove off. You squared up. Go ahead, bro. See what happens. And then you're like, I guess I have to get in there because we got to be around. You can't be doing nothing. But I feel like that's what it was, dude. What a tough just gig all the way around for him. But I do like the same thing. The umpire said, dude, go ahead, guys. This is what it is. Have at it. You're going to do this. I'm not stopping it. I think it was, I love how many people are like, this is so good for baseball. We need more of this. It's like, well, it was fun. It's one of those things where it's certainly safer than getting a 95-mile-an-hour fastball thrown at you after pissing somebody off. But I think they should just go straight They should just work in some hockey stuff. It's like, hey, if you get in a fight, here's the rules. It's like you're gonna miss your next at bat. It's gonna be an automatic team out. It's like hockey. It's like, oh, you got 5 minutes. Team's got to play without you. You're like, damn it. You instigate a fight. Go ahead. If you defend yourself, then you're good. You could stay in here. But just, I mean, obviously would never do that. But it'd be funny to see because it would allow these guys to go, well, you know what? It's 11-0. My next at bat doesn't care. It doesn't matter. This dude down here really pissing me off. I'm gonna jam myself at first, get to first base, and start talking some shit and see what happens. But it's just real. That's the thing. Baseball fights are always so boring. They're just a big cluster of people that are in a big mob. So, yeah, I don't know, man. Who was, speaking of, standing up for a guy and maybe going to tackle him, who was it Nigel Morgan who charged the mound and their first baseman came through with just a straight clothesline? Was that who that was?
Yeah,
that's what you should do.
That's an example. Also, when Bryce Harper charged, was it Hunter Strickland? One of the outfielders, Michael Moores. I don't know if I'm getting that right, but he collided head to head with somebody and he got knocked out. Michael Morse, I believe if that was the name, something like that. But yeah, it just seemed like it was like kind of one of those guys you go out with, and the guy's like looking for a fight, and you're like, bro, like I know we're all together, but you like that's your thing. Do it, blah blah blah. So and to your point about making it good for baseball, it is exciting. So, and I'm not saying it's good, but baseball can be very monotonous and boring, and if you're not a diehard fan, you can get lost in 162 games a year. So I understand. So I think and I don't want to say it's good for the game, but it makes it more exciting. People are talking about it. It's all over ESPN. ESPN doesn't talk about baseball, period. I got to go to MLB.com, got to go to MLB TV to watch, my baseball highlights. But now they're talking about it because something like that happened. And it was also funny that J-Rom got 3 games less than Tim Anderson after getting knocked out, too. It's like he won the fight, and you're not going to get as much of a suspension.
I know. It's just tough. It's interesting. I mean, he instigated it, I think, and then Anderson really started it. That's kind of how I saw it. Like, he pointed at his face, like, I don't know if he touched him or what, but he was close enough to be like, it looked like he poked him in the face. I would have been like, what are you doing, dude?
Yeah.
So I got it from both sides, but yeah, and again, to your point, these pitchers, these players are worth millions of dollars. They got families, careers. They're like, man, I'm not trying to blow my arm out tackling this dude for you. Come on.
Right.
So it is what it is.
Absolutely. Moving on, Jake, we saw that ESPN sold their Penn sold their rights from Barstool to ESPN. ESPN is now going to have a sports book called ESPN Bet. One of the biggest sports information sites, networks, media programs, ESPN is now going to profit off of sports betting. Jake, are you a betting man? Do you bet on MLB? Do you bet on NFL?
I do. Yeah, I like betting. It's fun. It makes a Tuesday night game that you otherwise have no interest in interesting. I think it's fun. I've always been that way. And to me, yeah, it's the biggest business of sports. Teams can bring in whatever they want. Nobody's bringing in as much as Vegas. So it's like that to me is a matter of time before ESPN got their hands on it. It's a matter of time before all these people do. And it's interesting. It will be interesting to see what kind of, I guess, content sounds weird, but when you turn ESPN on, like, are we gonna start seeing some more lines and some more like information on the betting side, because they go heavy on fantasy football, and I don't know as much. I don't do fantasy baseball because it's just too long for me. Yeah. But they go heavy on the fantasy football stats and over unders and all that stuff. So I'll be interested to see where they go with this and how much it bleeds into their content, I guess you would call it.
So the thing I have an issue with is, and I don't follow basketball, but they have NBA insider. His last name is Shams. Are you familiar with him? Shams.
I've heard of the name Shams.
Sure. So he's like an ESPN insider, like him and Woj. Like, they say they dropped a Woj bombs. They got the insider information. So Shams apparently works for FanDuel, or at least has some kind of partnership with FanDuel. And during the NBA draft, he was talking about this guy, Scoot Henderson. He was going to go number 2 in the draft. Scoot's moving up in the draft, going number 2, right? And then I guess he didn't go number 2. He went number 3. So you got a guy who's profiting from FanDuel, or at least who's on the FanDuel's, books. And then he's pushing out this narrative, and he's known as a very credible source, and he's pushing it out on ESPN. He works for FanDuel, and then it doesn't go that way. It didn't happen. Yeah. So you're moving lines, you're pushing lines like that. So I find that very peculiar. And people are already very dismissive about sports are being rigged and all that kind of stuff. So I think that's you're muddling the lines a lot when you're looking at a big brand like ESPN, and now you're going to be profiting off of bets like that. So it's very interesting that I saw that today, and I think a lot of people had a lot of stuff to say about that.
Yeah, I can't imagine too many people being very happy about it. It's a very weird marriage with ESPN and gambling. It's like you just said, what kind of information are they going to put out and not put out? What do they know and they're going to withhold, and what are they going to kind of know and just put out there?
Or sway the audience.
Yeah, you're 50-50 on something, but all of a sudden today it's ESPN guys are 100%. This is going to happen. You're like that. Going 2, no doubt about it. Laying freaking money down, and then all of a sudden, whoopsies. And there's no accountability. Anything in that is always, this is gambling advice. It just is what it is. We don't know. It all comes with that bottom line of this is just our thoughts. We can't guarantee you anything. So they're never on the hook for bad calls.
Yeah. Curious to see where that goes, obviously. Jake, I wanted to know about your social media. Obviously, I'm in social media too and creating content. It's a very bizarre thing to explain, right? Like, we create content, we make videos, we profit. Like, I work for a company that pays me to make content. I edit content, I make graphics, I do cover sports. Like, it's a dream to do that. Like, I imagine that's kind of the same thing for you. Like, that's what I set out to do. I set out to cover baseball, to cover sports, and create something that I can profit off of and live off of, and have a great schedule where I can talk about sports and bring on other creators and have a podcast. Like, stuff is so cool. So your thing, well, I'm not going to call it just your thing, but you're very well known for the ball. We do that on TikTok. So, you do a little zoom and all that kind of stuff. So I'm just curious to know where that came from, where you say ball, and where that came from, your social media journey, where that started, where that begun, where it exploded, stuff like that. So tell me a little bit of how your social media career begun, where it's gone, where it's going, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's okay to dub me as the ball guy. If I go to a baseball event or something, I either hear Jake real loud, Jake Savicki, I turn, they're like, I knew it, it's that guy, or I hear ball, or I hear you're the ball guy. Like, that's all I hear. So
sure,
that's fine. And
but you're more than that, Jake. We know you're more than that. But yeah, everyone's got a calling card, right?
Yes, that's it. That's funny because I used to tell my kids, I coached at Carlsbad High for 9 years, and we would have a banquet, and I would always tell them, I just told some guys on a podcast this the other day. I said, I would always tell my guys, like, hey, if you're now, it's 2020, you get your degree, do whatever, 4 or 5 years. If it's 2025 and you're doing something that you don't enjoy for a living, like, you're just doing it wrong, because there's too much possibility. The audience is too big. The platforms are too big to not find something you enjoy and work at it. So I used to always joke. I go, there's somebody out there, kind of like I said on the quick takes earlier, I said, there's somebody out there that there's an audience. There's probably some lady that peels potatoes and then tastes them and makes 1 million freaking views every video because people love watching her peel and taste potatoes.
I follow her.
Yeah, right. So I would always joke with them about that and say, I'm telling you, whatever it is, whatever you like, it's cool to somebody, to enough people. And now guys will hit me up every now and then, be like, hey, remember that speech? Like, did you ever think you'd be the ball guy? I'm like, no, but at least my speech was correct. Like, you could be anything. So, but I never really had a big intention to start much with it. I downloaded it TikTok during COVID, like a lot of people probably. Just to kind of hang and watch some stuff, and had a couple videos that went viral. And one early, I did this video game one where I said it's all I have. A lot of people don't even know that's me, but it blew up. Barstool Sports posted it, and I had like, I don't know, 5,000 followers on TikTok, which is what it is. But I started getting like so many DMs on Instagram about, working. We want to work with you. Hey, we want to send you some product. And I'm like, geez, I have like, I don't know, 4,000 followers on Instagram. Like before I posted that video and it blew up, I'm like, I had 8 followers on TikTok. I had no audience, and people were wanting to send me stuff just because of one video. And so to me, it was like, man, this is Jesus. Man, no wonder these TikTok kids are doing what they're doing when they got 5 million followers and they're dancing, looking like idiots, making friggin' bank. So I'm like, I don't need to do that, but I think I'm smart enough to find something to do with this. So that was a real like light switch moment for me, where I just saw the possibilities of being a guy with no real audience and one video that was currently going viral, and people just wanted to give me stuff. So I'm like, okay, if I can really do something, there's money here. So really the first thing that I guess kind of blew me up on there was when I would act like Cody Bellinger, which was, a lot of people saw that and enjoyed those, and I just followed.
And Jake, you play an accurate Cody Bellinger. It's not that you just played him, but it's an accurate depiction.
I like that. What's funny too is I didn't even think about like looking like him or anything. I'm just like a naturally talk slow, eyes half open kind of guy. And when I made the video, I was trying to act like him, but everyone was like, dude, this guy looks just like him. I started like, I guess, it just was meant to be, So I really kind of just followed TikTok. That blew up, and I was smart enough to know that TikTok, you make one video, it blows up, and you get 10,000 followers from it, because it's a crazy place. I mean, overnight you could be 10, 20,000 followers. So that blew up, got 1 million views basically overnight, and I don't know, 10, 15,000 followers. And then, so I said, all right, TikTok, I'll listen to you. And I just kept making Bellinger videos. And it was, I probably went from 15,000 followers to 150 off of Bellinger, like just making content like that. And then eventually I kind of stopped, because he's one of my favorite players. Like, I love the guy.
Yeah.
And the only way to make those videos is kind of like you're making fun of him, but I'm like, I don't want to be doing that. But they served their purpose. They were fun. And then the ball thing just happened, man. I was watching a video, and it was like, all these guys are 16, they all throw 90 plus. And I'm like, and then there was a thing that said link in bio to, throw harder. And I'm like, yeah, okay. If this is a cookie cutter thing, and some dude's posting this stupid ass video and making money off poor kids and parents that think they're gonna read whatever this is and throw harder, that irritates me. So I do my research sometimes. I went and like actually bought the friggin' thing for like $20 because I wanted to know. So I ever saw it, and I'm like, I'm telling you, it was so generic and such garbage. I was just irritated. So without like saying that in a video, I looked at it, so I'm just gonna download this video, cut it up to where it's just every pitch, and afterwards we're just go ball. Like, people will understand, like, yeah, it's cool, you throw 90 plus, but can you pitch?
Yeah. Can you locate?
Can you pitch? So I made that, and then I just realized there's just an entire world of people out there that also hates the new velocity with no control movement. It's like, and I see it both ways. I mean, obviously, it's just the game. It's where the game's going. So you want to make it. That's what you do. And I have no problem with the velo. And I think I know baseball more than people think, because I don't always talk about it. But I mean, I coached for 12, 13 years. So it's funny when people are like, what they think, like the velo training and all that stuff is bad, or like, I don't know that they don't care where it's going. Like, I know what they're doing. At this point, this is the content. Like, you want to crow hop and throw 97, and you happen to be throwing it towards the plate, even though you're not aiming, and it's up top left corner. It makes for great content for me, even though I fully understand what you're doing, but
yeah.
And then same thing. And then saying cranked on pitches that are strikes, that came up because I'm like, I've said nothing but ball for like 2 months. And then somebody I just got tagged in so many things that were like, strikes, like actual strikes. I'm like, yeah, that's
Yeah.
nasty. 98 cutter, in on the freaking black. I'm like, that's good luck. And then instead of saying strike, I just said cranked 450 dead center. Like
Yeah.
I became the guy that's like, it's either a ball or I'm hammering that thing. Like,
Right.
in reality, I haven't taken AB in 10 years. I'm like, I wouldn't touch this, but it's just kind of turned into such a funny, I guess, movement in my life, and the people that enjoy it. But it's just crazy. I had a minor leaguer tell me, he's like, dude, I'm so glad I wasn't playing when you were there. He's like, that would have just bothered me on the mound. I'm like, really? Like, you would have thought about that in your professional career? He's like, oh, fuck yeah, dude. I'm just like,
Yeah.
hey, I hope it doesn't bother too many people, but it's fun. It's kind of wild how that took
It
off.
it's crazy how far it travels, right? Like you
Hmm.
make a silly video of you commenting on a
Hmm.
pitch about somebody who probably lives across the country. Me and you are across the country. You're in California, I'm in
Hmm.
Jersey. So, someone makes a pitch out here and you're in either your studio or like where you're coaching and you just make a little something silly and everybody sees it. You know what I mean? And it's just crazy how yeah, a little silly video that you have with your cell phone or your camera or whatever, and
Hmm.
how far it can reach.
That's what gets me about it, because to me, like I'll go to if I go to a baseball game, I'll get noticed, whatever. Like obviously there's thousands of people there. Somebody will see me, but I first started thinking like it's so weird. Like I think I'm at 500,000 followers, and it's like it's a lot of people, but it's not a lot of people. Like we're talking about the United States and the world. Like to be noticed and all that is wild. But then I look at the stats. I go to TikTok in a month. It's like 85 million views, and it's like
Mm,
that's a lot of views. That's a lot of
mm,
people. Like so, it makes sense the kind of reach you have. And like you said, man, the editing I do is literally stitch button and then I hold the
yeah,
red record button. I zoom
yeah,
in slow and say when I say it. That's
yeah.
it. So
You're not Steven
guys like
Spielberg.
no, and guys like you and I just went to this creators camp with not your average baseball camp with Coach Rack, who's like editing TikTok genius. You know him, seen his stuff.
I saw him because I went to your page, and
Okay,
he does. Does he do
he
coaching
does.
as well? I saw like
Yeah,
he
yeah. He
like
kind of more of a yeah. So he coached the JV team last year, but he kind of does just like good, well edited, quick, catchy baseball content
mm,
that's teaching. I would say it's a little
yeah.
more teaching than coaching, but he gives great advice. And there was 9 of us at this camp, and they're all like that online. And I'm looking at them, I'm like, where they're having these meetings, and they're talking about content and scripts, and I'm like, scripts. I'm like, what? What are you guys doing over here?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
now I just scroll through my tags and see who tagged me in videos. And once I see like the same video over and over, I'm like, this must be a good one. Boom, and I
Yeah.
crank the ball, whatever it is, and I'm done. So
Yeah.
it was funny to hang with those guys and really see, just like you edit, you're good at this. You're like talented at it. So
Mm,
to me, you guys are very impressive. I told those guys that you guys worked for this. You're talented. You're good. I just got lucky, and I have a personality that people enjoy, and because my content is me. I'm not out here pretending to be this way. Guys that played for me will probably tell you, yeah, that TikTok he has is what I got for 4 years
it's
in
the
high
same
school. Like
guy.
same guy. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I just always believed in. I think baseball's obviously such a hard sport. You played it at a high level. We both know it's very difficult. It just sucks sometimes. You throw a perfect pitch and guy goes ass out, end of the bat, broken bat, single over the first baseman's head. You're like,
Mm,
great. Or you square a ball up that you're sitting on and the left fielder doesn't even have to
mm.
move. Yeah, you're out. See you later. So it's just tough. It's a tough game and it's unforgiving. And if you're not having fun, in the right ways. I don't mean let's go just who cares, let's have a good time and hang out with our friends, but it's when you're going to be loose, it's when you're going to be your best. So I was always a big like it's not that important, but it is kind of guy.
Sure.
Like, I would always tell them that nothing changes after this game. If it's not a like playoff win or go home game, you guys are still going home and probably getting in the jacuzzi in your nice house and eating a steak
Yeah.
dinner. And it's the same exact thing. Like so for 2 hours, yeah, we're here to friggin' win. But when it's over, but so what? Move
That's it.
on.
Yeah.
Win or lose. You know what I mean? If you wanna ride, we always say like you gotta flush the wins, like you can't just yesterday's home runs don't win today's games type of thing. So when I coached, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say something. You seem like a very likable guy. Okay, so I wanted to know if you get any hate because when I make content, I always stay true to myself, but I understand when how social media works. Okay, I take a strong stance on things that I believe in. I don't put out stuff just to get clicks, just to get engagement. Like if I were to say the Oakland A's are going to win the World Series next year, like that's bullshit. No,
Yeah.
that's you're asking for whatever. I will put out strong takes or just not even strong takes that I believe in, but I have conviction in what I say, and I will give you 4 to 5 reasons why I believe that. Okay? Whether you agree with me or you don't, I know I'm going to get blowback because there are people who are on this side and people who are on this side. But I'm going to give you 4 to 5 reasons why I believe that. I do like a lot of storytelling. I'll do a lot of take kind of stuff. But I'm not doing it for the engagement. Like I said, like with, ass backwards kind of takes. But I'm going to give you good reasons why. And then I live in Philly now. I'm Chicago born and raised, but now I live in Philly. So they see the Phillies hat and they're like, this fucking scumbag, blah, blah, blah. So I know that's coming. What I'm getting is like I get a lot of hate. I get a lot of mean things said in the comments from the videos that I make, the storytelling stuff. I'm very pro Philly now, pro Chicago. People say bad things about that either way. You don't seem like you have a lot of polarizing takes or anything like that. You kind of just comment on stuff like that. Basically, what I want to know is like, do you get hate stuff from comments like that? How do you deal with that? Do you see that kind of stuff? What's your mentality? Because I get that stuff a lot. I'll get DMs. I'll get some pretty mean stuff. Okay, and I got pretty thick skin. You know what I mean? Like I know I'm chubby. People say I'm fat or I'm stupid. Blah blah blah. Okay, I can take it. You know what I mean? That's why I don't put my wife or my kid too much on social media because you take shots at them. Then I'm gonna get upset, and then that's gonna bother me. Make fun of me all you want. I really don't care. Bottom line, I'm getting to what I was saying is you put out like a lot of just like a agreeable kind of content. Nobody's like fuck Jake sucks, whatever. Do you get that kind of stuff? That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, for sure. Actually, you'd be surprised. I think, and this is kind of the same in my real life. A lot of people, like people that become my friends, or like we joked about this at the camp with all those creators. They're like, dude, you're just like nothing like I thought you were gonna be. Like you're like I didn't want to dislike you or anything, but I just felt like you were gonna be like this kind of a dick. Like I'm like, well, I am, but in a funny way. And I said, but to me, like I get these comments, I get people that are like, this freaking kid, this guy is on his couch. You wouldn't hit that shit. I'm like, no shit, dude. It's a 98-mile-an-hour cutter from Rivera in 1999. Like, I'm not hitting that, but it's fun to say I would. Like, so, and I just get a lot of. It doesn't matter what you post, you'll get it. I get it on a lot of stuff. I posted a video that went viral. Well, pretty. I guess I guess it depends on what viral is, but about playing catch with my dad. I don't know if you saw that. And I was emotional talking about it. It was just a cool video. And I literally, I mean, I got like, I don't know what it's at, 5-6 million views and 8,000-9,000 comments of people going, this is so amazing. I love the vulnerability or whatever. But they're like, I just called my dad. Like, I'm going to see him this weekend. It's been too long. Oh, like every comment is like that. And then there's like 10 to 20 where I started off, I'm like, so I'm sitting there eating and I see this, and it's like a father and son playing catch. And I come back to me and I'm like, I just started thinking like, man, if I went to go give him some advice, like what would I say? And like there's 10, 20 comments that are like, who the fuck said they want your stupid advice? I'm like, okay, dude, like,
Yeah.
you couldn't have just listened to the story. Like, I hope you didn't go down there and ruin their time. I'm like, dude, I didn't go down there and tell them anything. I just was saying, what would I? But it doesn't matter what it is, dude. Whatever content you make, man, I'm out here saying ball or crank to like, this special need kid throwing out the first pitch. I'm like, my freaking followers are the worst. I get tagged in it a million times. I'm like, they all know. It's just kind of like it turned into this. What it turned into is this like nobody's safe type of thing, which people respect. They're like, yeah, this freaking guy, we know he's not a dick, but it's funny to like he doesn't even like doing this, but he's doing it. So I get a lot of hate. To me, like he has to deal with it. When I did the It's All I Have video game TikTok. I don't know if you ever saw that, but
What is it? You said it's called It's All I
so
Have?
yeah, I think if you literally type in like It's All I Have video game, it'll probably be the first thing that you see. But I was playing a video game. My wife turned it off. She was filming it. She was filming herself turn it off, and then me. And I'm like, why? And she goes, "This is all you do." And I was like, threw the shit down. I'm like, "This is all I have." Like,
Yeah.
whatever. So, and that was the first TikTok I had that blew up, and it was wild because the gamers were like, "Fuck that bitch!" Like, blah blah. Like my wife's like, "What is going on?" They're like, "You need to leave her, dump her ass right now." Blah blah blah. And then I didn't even post it on anything else. They'd go from my TikTok to my Instagram and like scroll through and find the first picture of me and my wife.
Things
And
you're
be
tagged in.
Yeah, I'm just like, they're just ripping my wife, and I'm like, she's like, "What the fuck is this?" I'm like, "Yeah." She didn't handle it well, but I told her, I'm like, "Oh well, look at this comment," and one of them's like, "Well, this dude's 34 years old. What a loser playing video games." I'm like, "See, they're talking bad about me too." Like,
Yeah.
she's like, "Yeah, okay," but I just told her, like, I tried explaining to her the way I saw it, and she's a woman, so obviously it's going to be much different for her. But I'm like, I can't tell you how many of these people are just like I said, think about it from you. Like, would you ever go on social media, see a random video like this, and comment this level of hate towards somebody?
Mm-hmm.
She's like, no. I'm like, would you ever hang out with people that do or care about them? She's like, no. I'm like, then who gives a shit? Like, you don't know these
Right.
people. We don't know them. I said, so she didn't fully get it, but I deal with it. I enjoy it. If TikTok wasn't so like I don't
Soft.
know. Yes, dude. If it wasn't so soft, I would have a million reaction videos to people's comments and just
I
fucking blow them up. Like,
Dude,
I love
I'm
that.
I'm gonna lose my TikTok. I got my final warning, and it was like I posted the J-Rom video, the J-Rom and Tim Anderson video.
Yeah.
I posted the video, and then I put my tweet on there, and I think it's maybe because I said shitty on the tweet, but it said gruesome content.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, do you see what is on TikTok? You guys are ridiculous. You're gonna flag this. This was on national television, and I put a tweet because I said shitty. Like, oh, so I'm on my last strike, dude. I started a backup page just because of it.
Yeah, gotta
but
do it.
oh my god, they're so soft.
They really are. They deleted my page at like 150,000 followers, and I was like, this was like prime belly, and I'm like, okay, like this is like this is an audience that I can monetize. Like,
Right? Yeah.
So, I searched like for myself on there, nothing. Like it was gone. I couldn't even. I opened TikTok, and all it said was like log in or register, and I'm like, I tried to log in, and like doesn't exist. I'm like, holy shit. So
Yep.
I ended up emailing or doing whatever I had to do, and I'm like, hey, this is like it's kind of similar to yours. Like the last straw for them was like a stitch I did where somebody gets hit by a pitch, and I'm like, I said, I don't think you guys understand my content is all like nobody's aggressively fighting it. This is part of sports, and I cover sports, whatever you want to say, but it is crazy. And it was just such a bad feeling to know like this could be taken away like immediately, and it is what it is. But yeah, I would be responding to people because I have a field day with it. I'm like, in real life, I'm pretty quick-witted. I can talk with the best of them, and it's like, you give me time to just sit back here behind a phone and think about what I want to say, like, you're not going to win. So I would love to just be the guy that's like blows up content or comments, stupid comments, but I can't. So
my favorite is
I
always say, sir, this is a Wendy's. That's my favorite comeback. They'll go on like a paragraph rant, you idiot, blah blah blah, and then it's just, sir, this is a Wendy's. People love it.
You know what else I use that people love is when somebody just rips me about how stupid I am, I always love to go, thanks, Adam. Just wanted to make you aware we're going to forward your concerns to Betty and HR. And they're like, fuck you, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this is what are you complaining about? You don't like the content? Just keep going.
Yeah, or they have zero videos, and I'm like, love your content.
Yeah.
You're doing great, babe.
Yeah, you're the best.
Yeah.
Discount rolling. That's funny. But yeah, social media hate, it doesn't matter what good you do, what bad you do, you're going to get it. And if you're going to get into content, You better learn to laugh about it, forget about it. It's just so non. It's just such a non-important thing in creating.
Yeah. And I think that's what keeps a lot of people from creating is the judgment
Mm-hmm.
from random people. And it's just like one of
Mm-hmm.
those things that I'll tell people is nobody hates on somebody that they're doing better at. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean?
Yep. Yep.
If you are like you said, taking time out of your day to comment on something, you suck, Jake, you're an idiot, you'd never hit that. Well,
Mm-hmm.
you probably are not doing that well. You're not doing that good, you know?
Yeah, that's this thing too. I like fire back at those people. I'm like, yeah, dude, I hit 270 in junior college one year. Well, you think I'm hitting this? Like, you're absolutely
Right.
right. I'm not hitting this. And they're like, oh, okay. I'm like,
Yeah.
there's a few videos on there where I talk about my playing career, and it's just I'm just like shitting on myself. Like I was the worst. Like I'm the
Mm,
first guy to joke about being good or bad, and it's like you can't. I mean, you can't come at me for my ego. Like I ain't got one. I don't. This is social media. I'm just here for a good time. So
yeah.
it is what it is. My ego exists in being good to my family and my friends, and beyond that, I don't have any ego. I care about how I do that. The rest of it, I'm like, we're good. You can make fun of me, say whatever you want. Just like your point, you were like, oh, you're fat, you're this, you're that. That's like, I had a video go viral on TikTok, and that day I went to some barber and had him clean up my beard. Did a horrible job, and I posted a video later that night that had nothing to do with that. It was like I was talking for like a minute. And there were just
Mm.
so many comments, just like nice
Ripped you
fucking
apart.
mustache. You, oh, dude, I'm like, I
Yeah.
was showing my wife, I was laughing. She's
Yeah.
like, "How do you possibly laugh at this?" I'm like, "This is hilarious." Like,
Yeah.
I got a bad friggin' cut today, and I'm getting smoked for it. Like, too bad this video didn't get 10,000 views. That would have been nice. It did. It, instead, it got 2 million, and now 10,000 people are making fun of me. So
But
I just think it's all part of it.
you also don't understand that the more that you comment, you are helping me. That's what trolls don't
Fuck no.
understand. If trolls really understood how social media works, the best thing you could do would be to scroll past. Scroll past.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
spend time watching my entire video and then you commented on it and then we go back and forth. All you're telling the algorithm is, yes, yes, this
Yep.
video is great.
Push,
Yes.
push, keep going. I
So
love that.
thank you. Thank you for
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. We invite those
Um,
people.
I know, yeah. Social media is people take it very serious. It's fun. Yeah, yeah. It's a wild world, dude. Wild world that you can make a living off of this and do all this kind of fun stuff. Last thing I wanted to ask you about, Jake, was World Series playoff predictions. Let me know how you see kind of the playoffs either ending up, dark horse teams. I mean, you're obviously a pretty smart baseball guy. I think we can agree the Braves are probably the best team in baseball right now. Are the Rays going to putter out again and kind of do what the Rays do? Do the Astros make a push now that they got Verlander? I mean, the Phillies can they get that wild card spot and catch the same lightning in a bottle as they did last year? Are the Cubs and Bellinger going to do something? What do you see coming here? Say September, October, coming into November here. What do you see for MLB playoffs and World Series?
I follow baseball. Obviously, the rundown you just gave me on what who's who is about as much as I might know. But
Mm.
when it comes to the Braves, if I had to put money on it right now, that's who I'm putting my money on. They look very good. The
Mm.
Astro, and then I'd go with the Astros because they're the Astros. You know,
Mm.
they got Verlander back, who that's his home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's where he thrived. It is what it is for him. And they got championship pedigree. You can't. I don't believe in the Rays this year for the World Series. Um, I just don't. I wish I did. I really like them. I like those kinds of teams. I like seeing Seattle do what they did last year. I like watching teams like that put a good season together. I don't think the Phillies, they were my favorite story last year by far. I
Yeah.
love that. I love that. I really, really wish they would have won. I thought they were going to. Baseball is such a, every team you look back on, I'd say 1 in 10 World Series winners, you look and go, yeah, we figured. It's like everyone else is just like, it was meant to be. Look at the Phillies.
Mm.
Like if they would have won last year, there would have been zero explanation as to how or why, or they played great baseball for 4 or 5 weeks. And that was it, like all season. They kind of just,
Jake, I made a
Yeah.
video. I made a video about, and this is like I think it's a work of art. It's on my TikTok. It's pinned at the top, and I talk about. I say the Phillies are going to win the World Series, and I talk about being a team of destiny, and that's something like I really like. I got like a soft spot for like destiny and like teams
Mm-hmm.
that are destined to do stuff. And then I talked about the Braves, and the Braves only won 44 games before the All-Star break, 44 games after the All-Star break. They lost the most famous Brave of all time, Hank Aaron. He died. What number was he? 44. The
Mm-hmm.
Chicago Cubs, 108 seams on a baseball. 108 years before they won a World Series. What happened? They won a like I love those little breadcrumbs that you can kind of create a
Mm-hmm.
story around and be like, that's a team of destiny. And I really
Mm-hmm.
thought the Phillies last year were a team of destiny. And they had that song, I'm right over here. Like that
Yeah,
song, dude, gets me
I know.
going. Like it was
Yeah.
so good. And they just caught lightning in a bottle. Killed the Braves and the games against the Cardinals that they had no business winning. And it's just like
Mm-hmm.
the baseball is, they play 7 games because the best team will usually come out of 7 games.
Yeah.
Football, it's 1 game. Baseball has a series. Basketball has a series because usually
Mm-hmm.
the best team will come out of there. But man, there's just something special. I just love like a storyline behind the underdog and the team of destiny
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. So yeah, like you said, like last season was just really special. And I just moved here 2 years ago. So last year, like, I'm really following the Phillies and it was just so exciting. And that song was everywhere and it was just really cool.
Mm-hmm. I just had a phone call come in. I don't know if that
Oh no,
screwed
you're so
anything up
good.
on your end. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I coaching long enough, playing, watching 90% of these teams that win the World Series or the championship in college or in high school, whatever it is, it was
Mm,
just meant to be. Like, I mean, that was, we won CIF one year in my 8 years, 9 years at high school, and it was a total, in hindsight, just a
mm,
team of destiny. I mean, we were good. We played well the whole season. When you look at everything, you're like, you were
mm,
just supposed to win. We were down 3-1 going into the bottom of the fifth in the championship game, and we were facing a dude that was the best guy in San Diego statistically that year. He gave up 8 runs in like 59 innings, and I think 6 of them were earned or whatever. And our guys were like really good, and I used to have to get on them like, hey, I would always say, stay on us. Like, don't talk about the other team. Talk as loud as you want about us.
right,
Like, that a boy, good take. Don't say, oh, can't find the zone, pitcher's lost. Like, this, leave
right.
that alone. We're too good for that. And this pitcher was just carving us for 4 straight innings. I mean, carving and like looking at us and taunting us. I'm like,
Mm,
fuck. Like, we made it all season with just being like, don't say anything. I'm
yeah.
watching my guys. I'm like, they're gonna just lay down quietly and like die on this hill for me of being good. And I like brought them together before we hit in the fifth. I said, come here. I said, look, you guys proved to me all year you're good dudes. Your fans know. Everybody knows. I said,
Now we
fuck
go.
this guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Fuck him. I said, do whatever you want to win the fucking game. We didn't come here to just do
Yeah.
whatever. And they put up eight
And
on
that,
us
and
that game.
yeah,
We
the
went in.
dugout. Ah,
We went in
ah.
down 3-. Oh, dude, they were so pumped when I said that. They looked at me like, "Fuck yeah, coach!" So they put up 8 on him. We ended up coming into the bottom of the fifth, down 3-1, and we left up 11-3. We won
Wow.
like 16-3, whatever. But it was like destiny. You looked and went like, I was always going to give that little speech in the fifth. I didn't know I was, and they were going to love it, and they were going to get fired up, and it was just going to work, and they were going to find gaps. And so when I watch baseball, I'm a Texas Rangers fan. I'm a Dodgers fan because I I just Dave Roberts' kid played here in San Diego, and I got to know him a little bit and got to know Dave. So I root for the Dodgers, really for Dave. If he went to Philly tomorrow,
Mm,
I'd root for Philly. Like, I just want to see him do well. But the same thing when it gets to playoff time, I just look for the best story.
yeah.
These are my guys. Last year it was Philly, and it was early when they squeaked in. And actually, speaking of betting, put money on them because they were, I don't know, they were plus like
Sure.
1,500 to win the World Series at the time. I'm like, yeah. I said,
Yeah.
I'll take him for $100. This is the worst
Yeah.
odds, and I like him. I said, who knows? So, and I was rooting for him, but that's baseball. So I think you look at the teams that are that good. The Braves just we would find a hole in their team, and
Mm.
where is it? Where's the hole? Is it starting pitching? Is it bullpen? Is it defense? Is it hitting? They're just they check the boxes. And the Astros, like I said, are the Astros, and I just don't see the Rays. Just don't see them doing it. I don't know. There's certain teams. It's like that.
Well, history too shows, right?
I don't know if it's a.
I mean,
yeah,
Randy Rosarena sitting there on the
history
dugout
shows.
eating popcorn after they're up 1-0, and you're like, dude, you guys want to win 101 games, and then you win one game in the playoffs, and you're done.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's just crazy. There's a lot to be said about just being there, doing it, and having a couple guys on your team that maybe have, and that's a big deal. That's why I think the Dodgers are always in the mix. I looked at them last year, and their starting nine was either, I think 8 of them were all-stars, and I think 7 of them, between everybody in the starting 9 was either an all-star or a World Series
Their
champion.
depth too, Jake. Like they had a lot of
why.
injuries, and they don't get credit for that. Is they had a lot of guys go down. Their starting 9 and their starting rotation did not look like the same from in April to where it was at the end of the season. And people just say,
No,
"Oh, you're the Dodgers." So it's like, yeah, but that's depth, dude. That's putting a good team together and weathering the storm and all that kind of stuff. So that stuff really matters, and that's what I look at when you're looking at postseason teams: is who has the pieces. Like maybe like we're looking at I'm looking at the Phillies right now, and maybe they're not performing as well, over a couple months ago or whatever. But these pieces are right. They have the hitters, they have the pitching. Can you put it together for a full month? You know what I mean? It's the teams that don't have the pieces. Yeah. Like, do I believe that this team, you're going to just put it together? Yeah. The Giants, am I going to believe that you guys are going to put this run? No, I got to look at the teams that got the pieces, and then we click. And now we're going in October.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can visualize like a team with chemistry coming together. Like you could see it all. Like the teams that win the World Series, you look at them from game 1 of the playoffs to the World Series. They're either on a mission, or they're having a blast, or they're both, or they have something that you go, yeah, look at these guys. They showed up to the field like it was a freaking Disneyland every day, and that's why. And it's a mentality, same thing. Again, I'm East Coast, so I see a lot of the Dodgers. My Padres are always freaking blacked out on TV here, so I see a lot of Dodger baseball. And I've talked to Dave a little bit about the whole organization. He's like, it's just the best. He's like, we have. If you're here for a week, you're going to know everybody's name. They're all going to know yours. You're going to know the guy that's changing out the trash. You're going to say, hey, what's up, Danny? How you doing today? Like, you're going to know everybody. And I said, what? Can you explain to me why every single time I see you guys in the 7th, 8th, 9th inning and you're down by 8, you either win or you lose by like 1? I said, what is it that keeps you guys so relaxed? And he's like, it's a game. It's baseball. It's the highest level, sure, but what happens? We're down by 8. What do we got to lose? We stay relaxed. We have some fun and say, let's make this a fun thing. See if we can come back from this. And I'm like, that's a big difference because, like I said, whether they win or lose, they're always. It's like, oh, down by 6. Here comes a bases clearing double and a 2-run bomb, and now you're down by 1, and maybe you lose. But for your guys to get up there in that situation, never quit and put it together consistently, it's just a clubhouse. That's the DNA.
Well,
they're good. So just like the Astros, you kind of knew they were going to win last year. As much as you wanted the Phillies and Team of Destiny, if you really look at it, you're like,
I think it comes from
they've proven it. They're there.
I think it comes from management, not management, the manager as well. When you're talking about teams that are loose and stuff, because the Cubs 2016 had Joe Madden. Joe Madden, very unorthodox. He brought magicians. He brought petting zoos into the clubhouse to keep the guys. I mean, who does that, right? So, but like you mentioned, you keep these guys loose. Hey, we're having fun. Go Cubs. Like, we're having a good time. And not like, crazy kind of stuff, but keeping the guys loose. And that comes from your manager. And that, like you said, when you face adversity, how are we going to respond? How is this team built? What's the DNA of this team? But the manager, I think, kind of sets that tone. And just like what I've seen, from the Cubs in 2016, that was a very special team from the manager, who was very unorthodox, who's kind of a hippie, Grateful Dead kind of guy. And he brought that vibe to the clubhouse, and you're down 3-1 in the World Series, and you come back to win because you are loose and you're having fun, and you got Dexter Fowler, and you said, you go, we go. So yeah, all about it, dude.
Yeah. Beautiful.
It's a beautiful game, Jake.
I agree with you. I mean, it's just, it truly is. I think that's why I like it so much. I mean, just like even what you just said, and at the big league level, a manager, that's to me, that's all he's responsible for. These are the best baseball players in the world. I wouldn't like, you know, belittle what they actually do, but I don't know how much you're going to teach these guys, but you're going to get a group of 25 of the best baseball players in the world to just gel. That's a manager, and create that, atmosphere every day. So I totally agree with you. Madden, no surprise, he's the guy to bring the Cubs, to. He was probably in there going, 108 years,
Right.
Who gives a shit? Let's go. Like, come on. Like, we're not going to talk about that. Or if he did talk about it, he'd probably talk about it in a way that made them all go, yeah, let's go. Not like, oh, it's the curse. It's just guys like him find a way to spin things in baseball. To me, that's everything, because you can't reinvent the wheel on how to field a ground ball, how to come through a fly ball, how to swing. It's the game is the game. So as a manager, you bring something to the table that changes what you can, and that's when you get the Cubs. That's when you get even the Astros. Yeah, cheated. There's a lot to them, but it's still to take that talent and manage it consistently for that many years and get guys that do it right. That's hard. Look at the Mets. They're
Or opposite end, the White Sox. Pedro Griffo would have has no control of that clubhouse whatsoever.
None. And you can feel it. You can watch them play, and you're like, these guys just want this to end so bad. So, yeah, I think that's a nice little tip of the cap to the importance of a manager in a big league club right there on your
100%.
Like
Jake, thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate it, man. It was a great talk. Hour in. I think this is quality content for everybody to listen to. So let everybody know where they can follow you. Plug your merch store as well. Let everybody know where you're at.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you letting me be here. This was a lot of fun. Jake Savicki on all of my socials, really just TikTok, Instagram is where I am. And then my clothing company is Rough Shot Supply Co. Rough Shot Supply Co. Instagram, I have a TikTok for it, don't really use that, but roughshotsupply.com. roughshotsupplyco.com. I don't even know my own website, but that's my business, man. The whole business is clothing and hats that are meant to just kind of remind us all that, our saying is we're living, these are the good old days. Like right now, me and you are going to look back at this podcast in 10 years and go, oh, those are the good old days. Like my point is to make some clothes for people that put them on and remind me and you, like, we're in it right now. So enjoy it and be in the moment. So that's what we're all about, trying to spread that good vibes through the world, really. But I appreciate you having me, man. This was fun. I always enjoy talking a little bit.
But we'll check you guys. We'll check you guys soon.
Yeah, right on time.